Hi, I'm Tony Stefani with Hillside Christmas Tree Farm. While I was doing that cone video last week, I kind of noticed that when I was talking about some of the leader work and growing kind of stuff, I noticed that the camera angle wasn't exactly the best, right? Having the camera on my forehead when I was trying to work didn't kind of show the stuff that I was talking about. So I decided to do another video here where I will kind of stand behind the camera and go for a little walk like I've done with other videos to kind of give another recap of what I was talking about and show some of the upgrades, kind of updates on, kind of how I'm leaving some leaders long. I do that versus Dad. Dad likes to leave them short and cringing on my leaders where I like to leave them long. So I'm standing in the area where I was going through those cones, and I still see some, which like I said, I'm not a perfectionist, but if I see some, I'll pull them off. So let's go for a little walk in this field, and we'll talk about some of how the leaders are. And I don't have my tape measure with me, but we'll kind of talk about how long they are and how they're doing. The downside of right now is that they're real tender, and we see some of the bird damage. And I wish, one option is the birds are going to land on like the tallest thing. And when I leave those leaders long, that's the long leader. And with that nice, perfect, bud set, I don't know if you can see this one, it's usually that top leader, and then it breaks off, and then you got to get the tape nerve or something and just get more work. So if you can put some, tall posts, T-posts or something like that, just give them something else to land on besides that tender tree. So let's turn the camera around, and we'll go for a little walk here, and then we'll kind of walk where we trim the leaders down to the normal heights and see how those are doing. If a lot of stuff is turning up and kind of see. Right now we are May 31st, so Canaans are kind of starting to break butt a little bit. Balsams are pretty far. Con colors are, a little kind of far too. So yeah, we're kind of in the middle of growing season, and stuff is chugging along. We'll be doing some taping and really, got to watch when you're mowing to not knock stuff off. So yeah, let's get going. Just kind of walking and talking here. So I think the first one that I took a picture of was up here. Maybe this one. Probably this one here. We kind of see we're here all the way up. Nice crown. All right, now we're at probably the last year's growth. Here's about 6 feet. Another one. My dad is kind of starting to get a little on board with this. This one, I don't know, bad swing last year. Maybe looks like I hit it with the knife. So this one, bring everything in and see what happens this year. So as I was saying, Dad is kind of getting on board with leaving them a bit longer, but just when they're 2 to 3 feet in height. So we'll go over where I have that new experiment going. I did a video making a playlist on it that we're kind of following a specific tree along. So we'll see how that's doing today. So I think this was the one I took a picture of in that video last week. But yeah, we see a nice crown, right? That's what we want to see. I got a feeling that terminal, that leader's going to shoot up, some more this season as we get growing. Here's another one. All right, long. Definitely longer than the normal standard, but good bud density. All right, lots of internodal shoots. Had a nice crown last year. I see that center lateral coming up. This was a deer rub, looks like, man, several years ago. That's going to be a green tree. There's another tall one. It's coming up. It's going to be probably another 20. But again, good density, so it's hard to cut all that off. This one here maybe a little shelf shelf here, whole. I think, you know, again, in this field we have a couple of years before we're going to be harvesting out of here. So I think you need, you know, 3 years, because this year this stuff is going to come out right into branches. The next year they'll turn into whatever, shoots, right, hands, let's say, right, and kind of fill in. All right, where's that big one? There it is. Here's the big, let's see, 31. Big 31-inch tree here. This is the one that I tagged, you know, with one of those Tyvek tags. So I think this was one that we'll really follow pretty closely over the next 2-3 years. See how that one shoots up. Again, good bud density, good top whorl. See how it goes. All right, and this was the road, and on this side are where we keep the standard, you know, 12 to 16, cutting them down where we need to. We see this is probably a Canaan just kind of getting going. Come over to a balsam. Stuff is starting to turn up, so we'll see how many liters kind of happen. Looks like here we didn't cut, you know, last year's whorls, so all these things are going to start competing for, you know, with the topical dominance. So we'll be cutting back. Ooh, cone right here too. We cut the leader. Last year's terminal, right, all starts coming up because it's like, oh, I was damaged. So who's in charge now? I'm going to start throwing new leaders because I'm not sure. So we'll see what happens here, but these are all going to have to get nipped later, and the tree's putting in a lot of energy into this stuff where it could just be just in the, could have been maybe a normal crown. All right, Ed, you were talking about bird damage, right? This is what we're talking about, right? Bird landed on this, just broke it off. If it was a bug, we'd see maybe you know, some sort of sign of a hollow. If it was a boring insect or something. A couple cones here. Yeah, all in all, I think we're off to a good growing year. Plenty of rain, milder temperatures. Supposed to be, I think, 80 this week, so we'll see how that goes. We got some rain earlier this week, so good weather. Like I mentioned before, we don't irrigate, so yeah. All right, so that's a quick update on kind of the long leaders. Again, we're at the end of May, so we'll keep following along how they do. We'll go check out kind of the another video. We'll follow that small 2021 tree. 21 tree for that 24-inch leader, and I'll also check in the spruce and see how they're doing. I talked about some of the long leaders that we left there before they started growing this year, so we'll go check those as well. All right, thanks for watching. Good little update. Again, you know, thanks for supporting the channel, watching. I know I didn't have the best view when I was doing the cones, but hey, you know, it's hard to get everything when you got that thing in your head. And, yeah, so all right, thanks for the comments, and keep them coming.